The quantum core's steady hum permeated the observation deck of humanity's most ambitious project to date. Admiral Sarah Chen stood motionless, her weathered hands clasped behind her back, as she gazed at the sleek vessel floating in the massive construction dock. The UES Oracle gleamed under the harsh lights of Titan Shipyard, its hull a perfect mix of flowing curves and sharp angles that defied conventional warship design. "Beautiful, isn't she?" Dr. Rashid Khan's voice carried a hint of pride as he joined the Admiral at the viewport. As the lead architect of Project Oracle, he had every right to be proud. "The quantum probability matrices are performing beyond our initial projections." Sarah didn't immediately respond, her dark eyes fixed on the ship that represented humanity's greatest gamble. After 3 decades of interstellar expansion, humanity had discovered they weren't alone in the galaxy, and not all their neighbors were friendly. "A warship that doesn't fire a single shot," she finally said, shaking her head slightly. "Sometimes I wonder if we've gone too far, Rashid." The scientist smiled, his fingers dancing across his tablet as he pulled up the latest test results. "That's exactly why it works, Sarah. Every species we've encountered bases their military doctrine on conventional warfare, kinetic weapons, energy beams, shield technology. But the Oracle," he gestured at the ship, "she fights with mathematics and quantum certainty." The vessel's primary weapon wasn't a cannon or a missile bay. Instead, it housed the most powerful quantum computer ever built, running an AI that could calculate the outcome of any military engagement with near-perfect accuracy. More importantly, it could project those calculations directly into the minds of enemy crews, showing them their inevitable defeat in such vivid detail that retreat became the only logical option. "Final diagnostics are complete," a young lieutenant announced from her console. "All systems are green." Sarah straightened her uniform. "Time for the real test then." She turned to Rashid. "The Arcturus Defense Fleet is waiting. They don't know what we're testing, just that they're supposed to try to destroy a single ship." 14 warships against 1, Rashid mused, checking his data one last time. "In conventional terms, it's suicide. But the Oracle doesn't play by conventional rules." The next hour was a blur of activity as the final preparations were made. Sarah watched from the Oracle's bridge as Captain Maya Patel, the ship's commanding officer, ran through pre-launch checks with her crew. They were all hand-picked, not just for their skills, but for their ability to think differently about space combat. "All stations report ready," Maya announced, her voice steady despite the tension visible in her shoulders. "Quantum core is stable. Probability engines are spooled up." Sarah nodded. "Take us out, Captain. Let's show the fleet what the future of warfare looks like." The Oracle glided out of the shipyard with a grace that belied its size. As they approached the designated testing area, Sarah could see the Arcturus fleet arranged in an attack formation, a deadly wall of human firepower that had previously held off 2 alien incursions. "Fleet Command is hailing us," communications reported. "Admiral Rodriguez wants to know if we're ready to begin." "Tell him." Sarah paused, allowing herself a small smile. "Tell him to give it his best shot." The next 10 minutes would forever change how humanity thought about space warfare. As the fleet opened fire with everything they had, the Oracle's quantum probability field activated. Every gunner, every tactical officer, every captain in the opposing fleet suddenly saw, experienced, the futility of their attack. They witnessed countless probable futures where their weapons missed, where their strategies failed, where their ships were systematically disabled without the Oracle firing a single shot. One by one, the ships began powering down their weapons. On their bridges, hardened veterans sat in stunned silence, their minds struggling to process the certainty of defeat that had been projected into their consciousness. "Fleet Command signals mission abort." Communications announced, almost unnecessarily. "Admiral Rodriguez is requesting. He's requesting permission to withdraw." Sarah exchanged looks with Rashid. The scientist was beaming, his tablet forgotten in his hands as he stared at the sensor readings. It worked better than we could have hoped, he whispered. The probability projection was perfect. But Sarah's thoughts were already on the future. If the Oracle could do this to human ships, how would alien fleets react? She had a feeling they were about to find out. Intelligence suggested the Kreth Empire was planning another push into human space, confident their superior numbers would finally overwhelm humanity's defenses. Send word to Fleet Command, she ordered. Project Oracle is a success. Begin Phase 2 preparations immediately. She turned to Maya. Captain, set course for the Arcturus defense line. It's time to show our enemies that humanity has changed the rules of war. As the Oracle's engines powered up for the jump, Sarah couldn't help but wonder, in creating a weapon that won battles without fighting, had they finally found the path to peace, or had they just started something they couldn't control? The answer, she suspected, would come sooner than anyone expected. The alert klaxons aboard the Oracle shattered the routine of gamma shift, sending crew members rushing to their battle stations. Captain Maya Patel sprinted onto the bridge, her dark hair still disheveled from sleep. Report. Multiple quantum wake signatures detected at the edge of the Arcturus system. Lieutenant Zhao announced from the sensor station. Configuration matches Kreth warships. Count is 37 vessels, ma'am. Maya's jaw tightened. Intelligence had warned the Kreth Empire would attack, but nobody had expected such a large fleet. Time to weapons range. 18 minutes at their current velocity. Get me Admiral Chen. Sarah Chen's hologram materialized on the bridge moments later, her expression grim. I'm looking at the sensor data now, Captain. This is it, the largest Kreth incursion we've ever faced. The Oracle is about to prove its worth. Maya studied the tactical display as more data streamed in. The Kreth ships were arranged in their characteristic arrowhead formation, designed to concentrate their devastating plasma cannons on a single target. Under normal circumstances, even humanity's most advanced defensive systems would be overwhelmed by such firepower. But the Oracle wasn't normal. Quantum core online. Dr. Khan reported from his station. The scientist had insisted on being present for the ship's first actual combat deployment. Probability engines are calculating possible engagement scenarios. The Kreth's biological neural structure is different from ours. We're adjusting the projection parameters accordingly. The minutes ticked by with agonizing slowness. Maya used the time to study the enemy fleet's approach. The Kreth were notorious for their aggressive expansion, believing it was their destiny to rule the galaxy. They had encountered 15 spacefaring species in their history. 14 had been conquered. Humanity was determined to be the first to break that pattern. Enemy fleet entering effective range, Zhao reported. They're charging weapons. Initialize the probability field, Maya ordered. Full spectrum projection. The familiar hum of the quantum core deepened as the Oracle's unique weapon system activated. On the tactical display, Maya watched as the projection field expanded outward, reaching for the approaching Kreth ships. What happened next wasn't what anyone expected. The lead Kreth vessels suddenly accelerated, their engines burning bright against the void. Rather than retreat from the certainty of defeat being projected into their minds, they pressed forward with even greater determination. This isn't right, Dr. Khan muttered, his fingers flying across his console. They're embracing the probability projections, using them to adjust their attack patterns in real time. Maya's mind raced. The Oracle's entire strategy was based on the assumption that no rational being would continue fighting when faced with the mathematical certainty of defeat. But the Kreth, their neural architecture, she realized aloud. Doctor, could their different brain structure be interpreting our projections differently? Before Khan could answer, the space between the fleets erupted with plasma fire. The Kreth had opened up with everything they had, their advanced targeting systems seeking any weakness in the Oracle's defenses. Quantum shell holding, the defensive officer reported, but they're adapting their attack patterns faster than our probability engines can update the projections. Maya watched as the massive alien fleet began to split apart, executing maneuvers that seemed to anticipate the Oracle's defensive capabilities. Somehow, they were using the ship's own probability projections to enhance their combat effectiveness rather than being deterred by them. "Admiral," Maya called out to Chen's hologram, "we need to change tactics. The Kreth aren't just immune to psychological deterrence, they're turning it into an advantage." Sarah Chen's holographic form nodded grimly. "Dr. Khan, can we reverse the projection field? Instead of showing them their defeat, show them 1,000 possible victories." Khan finished, already making adjustments. "But feed them probability paths that lead to tactical dead ends. Use their aggression against them." Maya felt the shift in the quantum core's resonance as Khan reprogrammed the probability engines on the fly. On her tactical display, she watched as the Kreth fleet's coordinated movements began to falter. Ships that had been executing perfect attack runs suddenly found themselves out of position, their carefully planned maneuvers leading them into crossfire from their own vessels. "It's working," Khan announced, his voice tight with concentration. "Their neural structure makes them hypersensitive to probability data. By flooding them with thousands of possible victory scenarios, we're overwhelming their tactical decision-making processes." The Kreth fleet's formation began to disintegrate as each ship pursued its own illusory path to victory, creating chaos where there had been perfect coordination. Within minutes, the mighty armada had become its own worst enemy. "Enemy vessels are powering down weapons," Zhao reported, disbelief evident in his voice. They're retreating, Captain." Maya watched as the Kreth ships turned away, their retreat just as chaotic as their attack had been. But she felt no triumph in the victory. The Oracle's first real combat test had revealed both its greatest strength and a potentially fatal weakness. Their assumption that all species would react the same way to probability warfare had been proven dangerously wrong. "Admiral," she said quietly, "I think we need to reevaluate our entire approach. The galaxy just got a lot more complicated." Sarah Chen's hologram nodded solemnly. "Agreed, Captain. But you've given us something invaluable. The knowledge that we need to understand our enemies not just tactically, but neurologically. The Oracle isn't just a weapon anymore. It's become a tool for understanding the very nature of consciousness itself." As the last Kreth ship disappeared into quantum space, Maya couldn't help but wonder what other surprises awaited them. The Oracle had been built to end wars before they began, but instead, it had opened up an entirely new frontier of conflict, one where the battlefield existed in the mind, as much as in reality. Dr. Rashid Khan's laboratory aboard the Oracle had transformed into a maze of holographic displays, each showing neural response patterns from different alien species. 3 weeks had passed since the encounter with the Kreth, and the ship's mission had evolved far beyond its original purpose. "Look at this," he said, gesturing to Admiral Chen and Captain Patel at a particularly complex pattern. The Vorathi process probability data through their collective consciousness. They don't just see possible futures, they experience them as a shared reality. Sarah Chen studied the intricate web of neural connections, and that makes them more or less susceptible to the Oracle's projections. "Neither," Khan replied, pulling up another display. "It makes them different. The Vorathi don't distinguish between possible futures and the present moment. To them, all probabilities exist simultaneously." Maya Patel frowned. "How does that help us? We've got reports of 3 different alien fleets heading toward human space. If each species processes our probability projections differently, then we adapt," Khan said firmly. "The Oracle's quantum engines were designed to be flexible. We just need to understand how each species thinks." Their discussion was interrupted by a priority alert from the bridge. "Captain, to the bridge immediately. Multiple quantum wake signatures detected." The 3 officers rushed to their stations, finding the bridge already humming with activity. Lieutenant Zhao's hands flew over his sensor console, mapping the emerging threat. 3 distinct fleet signatures, he reported, matching known patterns. "We've got Kreth, Vorathi, and something new." Configuration doesn't match anything in our database. Maya took her command chair, mind racing. Position. Converging on our location from 3 different vectors. They'll reach weapons range in 47 minutes. Sarah's expression hardened. They planned this. The Kreth must have shared what they learned about the Oracle. Now they're working together to neutralize our advantage. Not exactly working together, Khan corrected, studying the tactical display. Look at their formations. Each fleet is maintaining significant distance from the others. They're allies of convenience, nothing more. Maya saw the opportunity immediately. Then we use that. Doctor, can we modify the probability projections for each fleet individually? Khan's fingers danced across his console. Yes, but it'll put enormous strain on the quantum core. We've never attempted to generate multiple distinct probability fields simultaneously. Do it, Sarah ordered. Captain Patel, position the Oracle at the center point between the 3 fleets. Let's make them react to us. The next half hour was a blur of activity as Khan and his team reconfigured the Oracle systems. The quantum core's hum rose to a fever pitch as it prepared to generate 3 distinct probability fields, each tailored to the neural architecture of a different species. Quantum core at 95% capacity, Khan reported. Field generators are aligned. Ready on your order, Captain. Maya took a deep breath, studying the approaching fleets. The Kreth's arrowhead formation was familiar, but the Vorathi ships moved in perfect geometric patterns that seemed to defy tactical logic. The unknown fleet's formation was fluid, constantly shifting like a living thing. All hands, this is the captain, she announced shipwide. What we're about to attempt has never been done before. Trust your training, trust each other, and trust in human ingenuity. Initiate multiple probability field projection. The Oracle systems surged with power as 3 distinct quantum fields expanded outward. Each was carefully tuned to interact with its target fleet in a unique way. For the Kreth, whose mural structure thrived on aggressive possibility, the field projected scenarios of their ships being turned against each other, each victory path leading to mutual destruction. The Vorathi received something entirely different, a probability mesh that integrated with their collective consciousness, showing them futures where cooperation with humanity led to greater understanding of the universe they experience so differently. But it was the 3rd fleet that provided the greatest challenge and the most surprising response. Unknown fleet is changing, Zhao reported, confusion evident in his voice. Their ships are physically reorganizing themselves. Khan's eyes widened as he processed the sensor data. Incredible. They're not just a technological species, they're biomechanical. Their ships are part of their neural network. The unknown fleet's vessels had indeed begun to transform, their organic mechanical hybrid structures flowing into new configurations in response to the Oracle's probability field. But instead of attacking or retreating, they were forming a complex pattern in space. It's a language, Khan realized. They're communicating with us through spatial mathematics. Maya watched in amazement as the biomechanical fleet arranged itself into an ever-changing series of geometric patterns. Each configuration seemed to represent a different aspect of their response to the probability projections. They're not hostile, Sarah said softly. They're curious. They came here to understand us, not fight us. The revelation created a cascade effect. The Vorathi, sensing the shift in possible futures through their collective consciousness, began to adjust their formation. Their ships moved to create harmonious patterns with the biomechanical fleet's configurations. Even the Kreth, their aggressive nature temporarily overcome by the sheer novelty of the situation, held their position without attacking. 3 species, 3 completely different ways of thinking, Khan mused. And we found a way to communicate with all of them simultaneously through pure mathematics and probability. Maya felt a profound shift in her understanding of the Oracle's purpose. This ship wasn't just built to prevent war, she said. It's a bridge between different ways of experiencing reality. Sarah nodded, a slight smile playing at her lips. And that's humanity's real strength. Not our technology or our weapons, but our ability to adapt, to understand, to find new ways of connecting with those who are different from us. As the four fleets hung in space, engaged in an unprecedented exchange of mathematical and probabilistic concepts, Maya couldn't help but feel they were witnessing the beginning of something extraordinary. The Oracle had been created to change the rules of warfare, but instead, it was changing the very nature of first contact and interspecies communication. But in the back of her mind, a warning flickered. Somewhere out there, other species were watching, learning, adapting. And not all of them would be interested in peaceful communication through mathematics. The Oracle's bridge was unusually quiet as Admiral Chen studied the latest intelligence reports. The ship's recent success in establishing communication with 3 different alien species had led to an unprecedented diplomatic breakthrough. The Vorathi had opened formal relations with humanity, while the biomechanical beings, who called themselves the Synthi, had shared invaluable insights about space-time mechanics. Even the Kreth had withdrawn their forces, though their empire remained wary. "Something's wrong," Sarah muttered, drawing Captain Patel's attention. "These attack patterns don't make sense." Maya moved to examine the Admiral's display. Over the past week, colonies along humanity's outer rim had reported brief contacts with unknown vessels. The ships would appear suddenly, probe defensive systems, then vanish before they could be identified. "They're testing us," Maya said, "learning our capabilities, our response times." More than that. Dr. Khan entered the bridge, his usual enthusiasm replaced by obvious concern. "They're specifically probing colonies protected by our new quantum defense networks." The defense networks were scaled-down versions of the Oracle's probability field technology, designed to shield human worlds from attack. They had proven remarkably effective. Until now. "Captain," Lieutenant Zhao's voice cut through the tension. "Multiple quantum ruptures detecting. These readings can't be right." "Show me," Maya ordered. The main view screen lit up with sensor data that seemed to defy physics itself. Hundreds of spatial distortions were appearing throughout the sector, each one birthing ships unlike anything they had encountered before. The vessels were massive, their surfaces constantly shifting between states of matter and energy. They seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, parts of their structure occasionally phasing out of normal spacetime entirely. "By all that's holy," Khan whispered, his fingers flying across his console. "They're not just using quantum mechanics. They've evolved beyond conventional physical laws entirely." Sarah's expression hardened. "The Ancient Ones. They were supposed to be a myth." "Admiral," Maya questioned. "Stories told by the oldest spacefaring races, a species so advanced they transcended normal spacetime, appearing only when they deemed younger races had developed too quickly." Sarah's voice was grim. "They're said to have wiped out entire civilizations that they judged as threats to universal stability." The Oracle sensors tracked the impossible fleet as it approached. Unlike other alien vessels, these ships moved with perfect coordination, as if they were all extensions of a single vast consciousness. "Quantum Core is detecting something extraordinary," Khan reported. "Their neural patterns, they don't just process probability like the Vorathi or Kreth. They exist in all probability simultaneously." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. "Can the Oracle affect them? I don't even know if our probability projections would mean anything to beings that experience all possibilities at once." The Ancient One's fleet drew closer, and Maya noticed something disturbing. The quantum defense networks protecting human colonies were failing, not through force, but simply because the laws of physics they relied on seemed to stop working in the presence of these ships. "They're not just shutting down our defenses," Khan realized. "They're locally altering the fundamental constants of the universe. Our technology depends on quantum mechanics working consistently. Theirs doesn't." "Options," Sarah demanded. Maya studied the tactical display, her mind racing. The Oracle had succeeded against other species by understanding how they thought, by using mathematics and probability to communicate or deter. But how could they reach beings that transcended the very rules of reality they relied on? Then she saw it. "Dr. Khan," she said slowly, "you said they exist in all probabilities at once. What if that's not an advantage? What if it's a limitation?" Khan's eyes widened as he grasped her meaning. Because they experience everything simultaneously, they can't choose a single path. They're locked into experiencing all possibilities. Can we use that? Find some way to collapse their probability state. Khan's fingers flew across his console, making rapid calculations. Maybe. If we reconfigure the quantum core to generate a singular, absolutely certain future state instead of multiple probabilities. "Do it," Sarah ordered. "Captain, bring us within range of their flagship." The next few minutes were tense as Khan and his team reprogrammed the Oracle systems. Instead of projecting multiple possible futures, they were attempting to create a quantum certainty field, a space where only one outcome was possible. "Ready," Khan announced. "But Captain, Admiral, we have no way of knowing how they'll react. This could be seen as an act of aggression." Maya took a deep breath. Sometimes understanding each other requires taking risks. Execute. The Oracle's quantum core surged with power as it generated something entirely new, a bubble of absolute certainty in a quantum universe of infinite possibility. As the field expanded to encompass the nearest Ancient One vessel, the effect was immediate and startling. The ship's shifting form suddenly stabilized, locked into a single state of existence. For beings that experienced all possibilities at once, being forced to exist in just one reality must have been. "They're responding," Zhao called out, "getting some kind of transmission." The bridge's holographic projectors activated, displaying a series of complex mathematical symbols that shifted and evolved. Khan worked furiously to interpret them. They're expressing curiosity," he said in wonder. "They've never encountered beings who could manipulate probability this way. They're asking to communicate." Sarah and Maya exchanged looks. The Ancient Ones hadn't come to destroy humanity for developing too quickly. They had come because humanity had discovered something new. The Oracle's ability to collapse quantum uncertainty into specific outcomes was as fascinating to them as their multi-dimensional existence was to humans. "Open a channel," Maya ordered. "Let's show them that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our desire to understand and learn from those different from us." As the Oracle began its historic first communication with the Ancient Ones, Maya reflected on how far they'd come. A ship designed for warfare had become an instrument of peace, understanding, and discovery. But more importantly, humanity had proven that even the most advanced beings in the universe could still be surprised by new ideas. The Ancient Ones' fleet hung motionless in space, their ships now stable in single quantum states as they engaged in an exchange of mathematical and philosophical concepts that would change both civilizations forever. The Oracle had succeeded not by fighting or intimidating, but by offering something unique, a new way of seeing the universe itself. 6 months after first contact with the Ancient Ones, the Oracle drifted in high orbit above Earth, its quantum core humming with a new kind of energy. The ship's observation deck had been transformed into what Dr. Khan jokingly called the Probability Embassy, a space where representatives from 7 different species gathered to share their unique perspectives on reality. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at her usual spot by the viewport, watching Earth's blue-white sphere slowly rotate below. The planet seemed somehow smaller now, yet more significant than ever. "Quantum Translation Matrix is ready," Maya announced as she entered, followed by their newest crew member, a synthy interface unit that served as a bridge between human and biomechanical consciousness. The crystalline entity shifted its form slightly, acknowledging their presence. "The Vorathi Collective is prepared." It communicated in mathematically precise thoughts. "They express anticipation for this attempt." Sarah nodded. Today marked humanity's most ambitious experiment yet, an attempt to bridge not just different species, but different ways of experiencing reality itself. The Oracle, once a weapon of war, had become the focal point of an unprecedented collaboration. "Dr. Khan," she called out, "are you ready to make history?" Rashid looked up from his console, where streams of impossibly complex equations flowed across multiple screens. "The Ancient Ones have helped us modify the quantum core beyond anything we thought possible. Instead of projecting probabilities, we can now create a shared space where all our different perceptions of reality can coexist." The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, coordinating with their alien counterparts. The Kreth, their warlike nature tempered by new understanding, had contributed their unique grasp of aggressive probability. The Vorathi's collective consciousness provided a framework for shared experience. The Synthi's biomechanical insights helped bridge the gap between organic and artificial thinking. And the Ancient Ones, they had shared something far more profound: the knowledge that reality itself was more flexible than anyone had imagined. "Quantum core engaging," Khan announced, "beginning reality confluence." The Oracle systems pulsed with power as they generated something entirely new. A bubble of space-time where beings of radically different consciousness could truly understand each other, not just communicate, but share in each other's fundamental experience of existence. The effect was subtle at first. On the bridge, human crew members felt their awareness expanding, touching minds and perceptions far beyond normal human experience. Through the Synthi interface, they glimpsed what it was like to exist as a biomechanical collective. The Vorathi shared their simultaneous experience of all possibilities, while the Kreth offered their unique perspective on aggressive expansion of consciousness. And underneath it all, the Ancient Ones provided a glimpse of what it meant to exist beyond the conventional boundaries of space and time. "It's beautiful," Maya whispered, her consciousness touching realities she had never imagined possible. Through their shared perception, they all understood something profound. Each species' unique way of experiencing reality was valid and valuable. The universe wasn't just stranger than they had imagined. It was stranger than they could have imagined alone. "We're receiving signals from across human space," Zhao reported, his voice filled with wonder. "Other ships equipped with quantum cores are replicating the effect. The shared consciousness is spreading." Sarah felt it too. A growing web of understanding connecting not just the beings on the Oracle, but spreading throughout the galaxy. The Kreth Empire was experiencing peace for the first time in its history, finally understanding that conquest was less valuable than comprehension. The Vorathi collective was expanding in new ways, incorporating new perspectives into their shared consciousness. The Synthi were evolving, their biomechanical nature allowing them to bridge gaps between organic and artificial life. And humanity had found its true place in the cosmos, not as conquerors or defenders, but as bridges between different ways of being. The Oracle had shown them that their greatest strength wasn't their technology or their weapons, but their adaptability, their creativity, and their desperate drive to understand. "We did it," Khan said softly, watching the data streams that showed the spread of shared consciousness. "We've changed everything." "No," Sarah corrected, smiling as she felt the touch of 1,000 different minds, each experiencing reality in its own unique way. "We've just begun." The Oracle was never meant to end conflicts through force. It was meant to end them through understanding. And understanding, real understanding, changes everyone involved. The Ancient One's consciousness touched hers briefly, sharing a concept that defied translation into any human language, but she understood its meaning. The universe was conscious, and consciousness was evolving. What humanity had started here, aboard a ship originally designed for war, was nothing less than the next step in cosmic evolution. Maya looked out at the Earth below, seeing it now through multiple layers of perception: human eyes, Synthi sensors, Vorathi probability matrices, Kreth tactical analysis, and the Ancient One's transcendent awareness. "What do we do now?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. Sarah's smile widened as she felt the possibilities unfold before them. not through quantum probability projections, but through the shared understanding of 7 species working together. "Now," she said, "now we explore. There are more species out there, more ways of experiencing reality, more bridges to build. The Oracle's true mission is just beginning." As if in response, the quantum core's hum changed pitch slightly, harmonizing with the complex mathematics of space-time itself. The ship that had been built to prevent war had instead sparked an evolution in consciousness that would reshape the galaxy. Humanity had reached for the stars expecting to find enemies. Instead, they had found new ways of being, new ways of thinking, new ways of existing. And in doing so, they had helped create something greater than themselves, a future where understanding trumped conflict, where difference was celebrated rather than feared. The Oracle hung in space, no longer just a ship but a symbol of what was possible when beings chose to understand rather than fight. And in the vast quantum consciousness that now connected 7 species, a new kind of future was taking shape, one probability at a time.